flying doohickey. But even y'all ask me, scientists were put on this earth for one reason and one reason only. So we can catch up to the technology in Star Trek. Come on, theoretical physicists, stop designing creepy robots. We all know they're going to take over the Earth anyways. So just focus your attention on warp drive, transporters, and tricorders, or at least a tricorder app. I mean, personally, I just want a holodeck, damn it. Sure, it might malfunction once in a while, bringing forth the greatest evils of history and or fiction. But it's worth it to play a very expensive game of dress-up. Yeah. But most of all, we need to get in first contact with the Vulcans. Because, damn it, I think our civilization needs a little bit of logic.
That doesn't make any sense!
It's like I am dissing our own humanity. You'd be exactly right. I'm dissing our own. I mean, humans are dumb. Look at our recent history. Not long ago, the U.S. re-elected George W. Bush. Illogical. The Harper government voted no against science. In general. Illogical. Ben Affleck is Batman.
DC in general!
Miley Cyrus twerking gets more mainstream media than Syria. Bitch, you know that's illogical.
Okay.
Spock is half Vulcan, so he only gives half a shit about Miley Cyrus. As the science officer and first officer aboard the USS Enterprise, Spock brings about many of his Vulcan traits to the crew, such as the Vulcan mind meld, the Vulcan neck pinch, and the Vulcan single-raised eyebrow upon the discovery of something fascinating. But my favorite thing about Vulcans is every 7 years or so they experience an overwhelming, powerful mating drive known as on far. I see some of you are in on far right now. If the Vulcan does not have any sexual contact with someone, they will go insane and become excessively violent. But really, who can blame Spock? If I was on it here for 7 years and I had to keep watching William Shatner get busy with every alien we meet, damn well sure I'd go insane and get extremely violent. But don't worry, only directed towards William Shatner. Or option 3, I just booked some alone time in the holodeck. Remember the old saying, what happens in the holodeck stays in the holodeck. Unless it doesn't stay in the holodeck, in which case I am so sorry. Spock is the Vulcan so nice, J.J. Abrams featured him twice. But does that make him the better second in command? Hey, speaking about not being allowed to get any action, what the hell, Jedi Council? You're not allowed to get busy? I mean, Yoda, did you even see Natalie Portman? I would turn to the dark side so fast. I mean, hell, the Emperor just needs to tell Anakin, come on to the dark side. You can totally tap that. I'll just be in the corner. It won't be creepy at all. It'll be weird or nothing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You see, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, George Lucas created Star Wars. And nerds everywhere rejoice. A glorious blend of samurai and western tropes under a fascinating sci-fi setting. It was an era of peace and justice in the cinema. Before the dark times. Before the prequels. That said, even though the prequels were, that wasn't enough to squash Darth Vader's reputation as the galaxy's biggest badass. And hell, we did learn a lot about Vader in the prequels. I mean, Anakin Skywalker was born with incredible skill that were in tune with the Force. He's a genius mechanic, a skilled pilot, an expert with a lightsaber, and he's endowed with godlike patience enough to endure a friendship with Jar Jar Binks. And even though he's a whiny, angsty teenager, all that angst wrapped around him in an angry cocoon, and he eventually blossomed to that angry butterfly known as Darth Vader. It's kind of like puberty in a way, except the growth spurt is because of a mechanical suit, and the voice change is because James Earl Jones. I.e. the best kind of puberty. If you ask me, the Sith are awesome. Sith embrace the dark side of the Force, using the Force in admittedly much cooler ways than the Jedi counterpart, like Force choking, Force lightning, and Force really looking good in black robes. And personally, I always found the Sith much more interesting than the Jedi. They embrace emotions instead of trying to repress them, and I hate to bring up this prequels once again, but pent-up emotions only lead to dead sand people, dead Jedis, and Hayden Christensen trying to pull off a love scene. No good can come of this. Darth Vader is living proof that an asthmatic can be the galaxy's biggest badass. But does that make him the best second in command? That's what we're here to find out. Let's meet the Geeks and Nerds! Or Spock, Team Geek and your geek leader. Who can defeat the pure logic of... Wait. Who can defeat... Hey, Yvonne, you take two. It's gonna be brilliant. Who can defend the pure logic of this team leader? NCC 17, no one, that's who. It's Jeff Henner! She's long since cleansed all fear of the dark side from her logical, green-blooded Vulcan mind. She has and always will be Bree Fultz! He was kicked out of massage school for repeatedly giving volunteers the Vulcan neck pinch. He believes the key to life isn't happiness, but logic. Taking things too seriously and raising an eyebrow and not against his nature, it's Joshua James Tiberius Young! And for Darth Vader, Team Nerd and your nerd herder, he may look like Natalie Portman, but he also sounds like James Earl Jones after a night of heavy drinking. And that makes him the complete package. It's Her Royal Highness the Queen, Justin Say! That doesn't end well. If you strike him down, he will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Host of Frontlines, the Clone Wars podcast, and the forthcoming Star Wars Rebels podcast. Never tell him the odds. It's Michael J. Cohen! The Force is strong with this one. She was raised purely on the dark side and has officially never had a soul. Force choking her way across the country, this isn't the polite